Hi, my name is Ineka Estabrook, and I am an English teacher from the United States, and I work in Luxembourg in Europe. I am starting a new vlog where I am talking to international student teachers from all over the world, introducing you to this kind of world and what kind of possibilities there are out there and what life is like in different countries. So I thought I'd start with myself as an introduction. Like I said, I work in Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a little tiny country surrounded by Belgium, France, and Germany. And most of the people who work in Luxembourg commute into Luxembourg from one of those countries because it is super expensive to work there. I live in Germany and I commute into Luxembourg to work. So what do? I am a freelance English teacher, which is a really common way to start or to live. I've been doing this for 5 years now, where I work with a school, 2 schools, 3 schools, different numbers of schools. I'm a business English teacher. I teach, now I just exclusively teach business English to professional adults who need English for their work. So all of my students are adults, all of them are professional, all of them want to learn English. Almost all of them have a reasonably good level of English to start with, so I'm bringing them up to full fluency, which is the goal. There is a very high level of need for excellent English, not just okay travel English. So that's what I do. I work both in person in a factory where I work with a lot of the administrative people because they're the people that really need to use their English with clients, with suppliers, with other professionals that they work with. Mostly, sometimes I work with the higher level tech people too. So we talk a lot of tools. So like 3/4 of my work is that. I also have a few online students and I do the same kind of thing with them. So if you want this kind of job, what do you need? Well, most people need a bachelor's degree in any subject and a TEFL or some kind of teaching English to foreign learners certificate. TEFL, CELTA, Delta, all of these different things are different certificates for teaching like this. I personally was a teacher in the United States. I didn't start doing this until I was 48 years old. And so this is kind of my second career. I was a teacher in the United States in public schools. So for 2 years, I taught ESL in a public school to high school and elementary school children. And then before that, I was a school librarian. So I already had a good basis of education when I flew to Europe. And then I did a 1-month-long TEFL certificate program. I highly recommend getting a TEFL. You don't necessarily need one if you already have an ESL degree in the United States, but it is so helpful. And it only takes a month. It's a very intense month. I did mine at TEFL Worldwide Prague. Excellent program. Excellent program. So I flew into Prague the 1st of July. I started 8 hours a day, 5 days a week of training and practice, like a practicum teaching English to people on the street, basically, that came into the school. They got free lessons, but they had to put up with people practicing how to teach on them. And I did that for a month, and it is a really, really intense month because you have to do a lot of homework too. And your homework is making lessons. Here's your book. This is your theme. You have to teach the present perfect at the B2 level. Go for it. And you're like, oh. Um, so we did that for a month. And then after a month, so now I have a master's degree in a TEFL and TESOL GLAD, blah, 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 from the United States. Library media endorsement, not helpful, but why not? And then after a month, I moved to Brno in the Czech Republic, which is the second largest town in the Czech Republic. Really like Brno. And I easily got a job there. If you have my kind of background, which is a public school teacher with a degree in education, and then you get the TEFL, or you have already some kind of version of that, and you're a native English speaker, you're like gold. So I came into Brno and I Googled English language schools. I came up with a list of like 10, and boom, I got like 3 job offers really quickly. It got me cocky. Because when I came to Germany just a year later, it was harder. But still, I did the same thing. I sent out a CV and basically a cover letter email to all the different language schools in the area. And then 2 or 3 get back to me and I have interviews, and away I go. Really, really helpful. And TEFL Worldwide Prague that I just told you about teaches you not just the how to teach English part, but they also do some how to write a European CV, which is different. You have to put in a picture, your birthday, all that wonderful stuff. And they teach you how to job hunt in the country. They teach you how to get a visa, which is the country's permission to work there. It's really, really helpful. I highly recommend working with a TEFL program when you first start this kind of work. So, what is life like in Luxembourg? It is rural here. Where I live in a tiny, tiny town of 500 people. Now, Germany is actually a pretty densely populated country. Very densely populated compared to Oregon, where I am from, which is like 4.5 million people in a country almost the size of Germany, and Germany has like 80 million people. So they're little tiny towns everywhere, but they're cute little. They have a church. They have my little tiny town has a grocery store, a bakery, a pub, a butcher, a flower shop, and that is all. Basically, I'm in the Mosel wine country on the river, so the Mosel River, and there are vineyards everywhere, and I go hiking in the vineyards every day for lunch. I can walk to Grevenmacher, which is the next town over, it's a little bit bigger. It's like 10,000 people, and it has, my doctors and the pharmacy and everything else that I need. It's all in Luxembourg. It's right across the river. And so I get to walk a lot of places. It's very bucolic and peaceful here. The people are interesting. So Luxembourg is a very cosmopolitan city. It's not that big. Well, the country is 600,000 people. Tiny. And the city, Luxembourg City, is got like, I don't know, 250,000 people. And like 60% of the workers that come into Luxembourg come from Belgium, France, or Germany. So it's like, woo. They also have a big population of Portuguese people that came into work like 30 years ago and stayed. So that's like really interesting. They have a lot of people from Cameroon, from the Ivory Coast, Syrians, Russians, Lithuanians, Venezuelans. I have friends from all over the world. My friends, when I make friends here, are usually expats because the locals are a little less friendly. And it's not that they're not friendly people, it's that they don't really need to add to their friendship group because they've lived here all their lives and they've had the same friends since they were three. Um, so I find friends from expats, and I actually don't have any American friends here. My expat friends are from all over the world, and I really like that. Um, the best part of my job is talking to people all day. I love that. And my advice for you, if this is the kind of job that you're interested in, is just to go for it. If you're a teacher like I am, you're gold here. If you're a professional, a nurse, a business person, etc., and you've got a degree and you want to explore this, find a TEFL program. I highly recommend TEFL Worldwide Prague, but there are programs all over the world. Get your training, and get started. It's a cool life.